Hey guys, Jack Spirko here with a quick video to go along with my review of these new Knipex. I've heard them pronounced both ways, but I love these things. If you think this is just another variation on like channel locks, well, you're right and you're wrong. They're night and day different. Let me start off with how I ended up with these in my possession. So my good friend J.R. Haley came in to help us get ready for our annual workshop a couple weeks ago, and we were out and about, and it was going to freeze that night. So I was showing him how I blow my pipes out to keep pipes from breaking in the freezes. And, you know, you're taking hoses off, and they always bind, especially when it's cold and what have you. And he had a pair of these. These are the 7 1/4 inch, also 180 millimeters, because they were made in Germany. That's part of why they're so badass in their engineering. And what he showed me is that, like, when you set how far you want these jaws apart, they just stay. They have a little button right here that you push. And when you push that button, you can set it wherever you want it. So if you were turning something, let's say the size of this battery, you can literally with one hand kind of get down to right where you're on it. And when you're on it, you're on it. I'm going to show you something in a minute that you may not believe if you've never seen these things. Somebody standing on a pair of them and being their entire body weight being held up. And this is how this works. So if you look, I'm doing like a ratchet maneuver right now because the teeth on these, let me get a bigger pair to be able to see them better. These are 12 inches. The teeth on these are kind of angled like a snake's, like a constrictor, like a rat snake or a bull snake. They're angled back. So I always tell people when they're learning to handle non-venomous snakes, if a snake takes a swipe at you, just let it happen. I mean, if it's a big Boyd or something, don't. But if it's like a 3, 4, 5 foot rat snake or something, just don't do anything. And what you get is they bite, and maybe they chew a little bit, and then they let go, and they go, well, that didn't work, and they're afraid the giant's going to eat them now. But if you jerk, now you have those teeth pulling against your skin. These work the same way, and that's how they allow you, I want to pull this up for you, to get so much leverage and pull and not have them slip. Check this out, a little short video I want to play for you right now. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't do this with a pair of channel locks. I wouldn't even think about doing that with a pair of channel locks. And just a great tool. They're not cheap. They're really not. I've got a whole write-up on them, all the different options. I'm going to go through the ones that I own, and so you can kind of get scale. And I want to talk about EDC with these things as well, because dig that little guy there. We'll get to that guy in a second. I want to start out with, let's go ahead and bring me back up in the frame for you, kind of your different sizes. And these are 12 inches, and they go all the way up to 22. I may buy one size bigger. I'll warn you, again, they're kind of expensive, and they're kind of like potato chips. Like, you can't just have one. JR gave me a set of 3, and I've already bought 2 smaller ones. I may buy a bigger one. Here's why. The absolute biggest thing that I deal with on my property that we use something like this are a 2-inch bulkhead. Now, a 2-inch bulkhead has a nut on it that's almost 4 inches. So they're really a pain in the rear. And people say, well, you're supposed to do them by hand. Yeah, that's cute. Go ahead and show me how you're going to do that to get one off after it's been in place on a system for 2 or 3 years. These will, at 12 inches, get just onto that nut, and they will turn it, and they get a good solid grip on it. It's right at the edge. And if you look, when you start to get anything like this style of plier where your back end is that far apart, you're losing a lot of your leverage and control. So I may pick up a larger pair just for that, but I really don't need them. These will do 95%. You know, this is what would live in your toolbox along probably with a set of 10 inches. Like these two working in tandem when you need to, go get them, bring them out whenever. Just fantastic tools again, and they do really lend themselves to one-handed operation. You can literally just turn them over, drop them down, and then you can just reach, and I guess you're not seeing that, but you can, when you have it on there, you can just reach and clamp down and then start doing whatever you need to do with them. And again, they just, once they're locked in place, they just don't move. And we've all used channel locks where you get them the right spot and then they slip and they move, or you just have to fight them and they don't want to work for you. These just work every time, just absolutely perfectly. Now, I'd say this size right here, the 7 1/4, these, a jacket pocket, whatever, you hardly even know they're there. They're very flexible. They get quite large, as you can see, on how much grip they have. And even at their widest, since they're not that big of a pair, you've got a lot of power here in your hand. So I would say of all the sizes, the 7 1/4 is probably the most versatile. This is what I'm excited about, though, as a prepper. I mean, we like our EDC, right? And every one of us tends to carry a multi-tool. And like, they're the best thing, but they're not that great. And I don't know about you, but I always use 3 primary things with a multi-tool. Occasionally I use a file or some, but usually it's a screwdriver, standard or Phillips, a blade, a knife, or the pliers. I mean, those are the 3 things that you use all the time. And I always carry a knife. So I don't really need the knife. The knife on a multi-tool is nice that it's there, but when you're resulting to it, it means you forgot your knife, right? Check these out. These are the 6 inches. Oh, these are the 5 inches. They also make a 6 that's in between these 2. Those might work for EDC. And I'm going to show you why you might want these over the slightly smaller ones in just a second. These do have the locking mechanism. And again, you can use that locking mechanism one-handed if you had to. They also have an even smaller pair. Dig this. Now, for some of you that if you wear blue jeans and that little 5th pocket up in your right pocket, it's a deep 5th pocket. These will fit right in there. I've seen a lot of guys on YouTube carry them that way. I tend to wear a really lightweight kind of tactical pants that allow you to zip the legs off in summer so I can switch to shorts and stuff. And they have a cargo pocket. Any of these that just sit in there and be there all day long. In the winter, I shift over to a style of Wrangler jeans, and that 5th pocket is really shallow. So these things sit up high. So I need to find another way to carry these. Now, I'll tell you one thing about these. They do not lock. They are very stable, but as a smaller pair, they don't have the button. So, you know, what's more important to you, size and a few grams of weight, or a full lock-in and a little bit more leverage and a little bit more grabability, right? A little bit more width on the job. Now, the other thing I'll say about the little black ones is they don't have any insulator on the handles. Now, I'm not talking about saving yourself from electrical shock or whatever. If you're using these like this, you're going to get zapped, right? So never trust anything like that. So that's not what I mean. They're just, to me, they're more comfortable, but that's really easily remedied. 2 pieces of heat shrink, melt it down, and you've got insulated handles. So that's not really a big deal. What's a big deal to me is actually, I want to show you this right now. Let me get this up for you. I always read all the reviews to see cool things that other people come up with. And see what this gentleman did. I found this in the review pictures. And what he did was he took the screw out that holds the spring that causes the button to pop back up. And he bought a simple aftermarket deep carry knife clip for an inside the pocket knife clip. They're $5. Put a little thread locker on it so it wouldn't back out and put it back on. Now, how well will that actually work, and how convenient will carrying it be with that? I don't know yet. I've ordered one. It's $5. I'll report back after it. But I'm going to tell you, I would want to have these in my EDC if I were you. And I'll tell you another thing. If you're looking for a Christmas present and you're willing to spend a little extra money, I mean, like the little ones are like between 25 and 30 bucks ish. A big set of 5 is like $160. The 3 set that JR got me, these right here, is like $110. So I know when you can walk into like a Tractor Supply or something, they have aftermarket channel locks sitting in a bin, and you can get like, you know, a set, like a 2 set about this size for like 25 bucks. It may be hard to part with your money on something like this. But again, it's incredibly well engineered, and it can do some things that they never will. Imagine you're working on something. We've done this, all have done this, car, tractor, whatever. And you have that nut or that bolt, and it's got like a little thin gap like this, and you can't get a ratchet onto it. There's not enough space between the clearance of the wall and the nut to get a ratchet on it. So you're in there with a combination wrench, and then you have to take it off and put it back on, and it takes forever to do this one little bolt. Well, these are so thin that you can generally get in there, and then you can use that ratcheting action. And Christmas is coming. I'm just going to say it. I know you got to really like a person to give these as a gift because they're expensive. And if you're a guy like me, you might want them for yourself. But as somebody that received a set as a gift, I can tell you that anybody that's a tool person, has a workshop, works on their own equipment, whatever, homesteader is going to love these. If nothing else, choose your poison, your first potato chip, get one of these and start making it part of your EDC. Even if you have like a small pouch EDC kit or something like that, I'm telling you what you can do, even with the smallest ones that don't have the complete lock mechanism, compared to anything you can do with like a Leatherman, a Gerber Wave, any of that shit. It doesn't even compare. The amount of leverage this little pair of pliers gets you is insane. I just say Germans do engineering right. They definitely got this right. And I would buy anything these folks make. If you look in the video notes down below, there's a whole write-up on all this stuff. There's all the option sizes all the way from the itty bitty 4 inches all the way up to that gigantic 22 inch. I call that the one I wasn't requesting you to let go. You are letting go. And again, even the 12 inches can handle the nut on the back of a 2-inch bulkhead. That's a lot of grip expansion there. So check these out. I think you'll like them. And again, Christmas is coming. What a great gift.